When I started Carthu's dojo, my profile picture was of Tien Shinhan, because like a lot of people, I thought he was pretty damn cool. But as I got more familiar with the series, actually took time to think about the characters, the story, the manga, well, I think he might actually just be a fraud who's carried by aura. Like, think about when he's first introduced. He's an arrogant, powerful martial artist who's talking down to everybody who gets in his way and just oozing aura while he does it. Only for him to have a weird tournament run that does end up with him winning, but not necessarily in the way that you would give a cool character. Because if you remember correctly, Tien Shinhan only won that tournament due to luck. Now, luck isn't the only reason he won this tournament. There's actually a bunch of factors that make this way more fraudulent for him, like the fact that Jackie Chun, aka Master Roshi, decided, I'm gonna step out of our fight early, when realistically, there's a world where Jackie Chun, aka Roshi's experience, could outclass Tien Shinhan's power. There's also the fact that Tien Shinhan gets a break between his semifinals match and the final match of the tournament, while Goku does get the choice to have a break, but chooses to skip it. So Tien Shinhan is way more rested and less damaged overall than Goku, who actually had to fight his opponents and then not take a break. Then there's the fight itself, which is a pretty close back and forth fight for the most part, with seemingly Goku having some form of edge. That is, until the cheating happens. People forget this, but Master Shen orders Chaozu to hold Goku in place with his telekinetic magic power bullshit. And it works. It holds Goku in place, and Goku gets pummeled while this is happening, until Tien Shinhan realizes what's going on and tells Master Shen to knock it off. But at that point, the damage is done. Goku just got beaten into a pulp for the last, 2 minutes, and there was nothing he could do about it. No guard he could put up, no fight against it he could do. He literally just sat there and took a beating while Tien Shinhan is feeling great and having a good time. And even with all of that, the only reason Tien Shinhan won is because a van happened to drive in the path of Goku landing on the ground first, which led to Goku hitting the ground before Tien Shinhan did. That's the only reason he won. This is such a fraudulent win that Tien Shinhan himself says he didn't actually win. Now, of course, Roshi and Goku give him the win, whatever. They're being very nice about it, but it is fraudulent. All that aura and power he was exuding at the beginning kind of crumbled in the heat of the moment because Goku was just better. There was not actually a close competition. If everything had been equal for both of these competitors, Goku probably wins that match relatively easily. I'm sure it'd be the hardest match of the tournament, but it wouldn't be as close as it was in the end. Okay though, but what about after the tournament? Well, I will give Tien Shinhan credit for something. He's not at fault for falling for Master Roshi's deception and being unable to do anything against Demon King Piccolo while he's using the Dragon Balls after killing Master Roshi. And on top of that, he learns the Mafuba on his own by seeing it once. And that's pretty damn impressive when you consider that Goku in Dragon Ball Super, mastering godly techniques and godly forms, took like a whole day and night to actually learn the Mafuba. So that's a plus for Tien Shinhan, but it basically ends there because he ends up breaking the rice cooker that he meant to seal Demon King Piccolo in, meaning he couldn't actually use the Mafuba in combat at all, and King Piccolo never actually fights Tien Shinhan. Piccolo in general never fights Tien Shinhan. You know why? Because Drum, a newly hatched minion of Demon King Piccolo, beats the ever-living shit out of Tien Shinhan, the guy who just won the last Tenkaichi Budokai. Great, man. This is not fraudulent at all. God, it's so bad for him. He's done nothing. Once Goku arrives, kills Drum, and starts fighting King Piccolo, Tien Shinhan does manage to help by using his Bukujutsu, aka Flight, to get Goku out of the damn way of Piccolo's attack, which is the best thing he probably could have done in that moment. But the issue is he then gets captured by King Piccolo and used as a hostage while King Piccolo just sort of tortures Goku. And if King Piccolo had been a little bit smarter, he just wins this fight because Goku wasn't willing to let Tien Shinhan die this way. It's not great. It kind of nets even during the fight, at best. That's all I'm gonna give him. Then after Demon King Piccolo, we of course have the 3-year time skip to the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, where Tien Shinhan fights Goku. And this is an all-timer great fight. It's just so fun to watch, so much energy, everything is great, it's so back and forth, until Goku reveals he's wearing weighted clothes the whole time, and then proceeds to just be way better than Tien Shinhan for the rest of the fight. He literally pants Tien Shinhan during this fight. That's embarrassing, man. That is That is disrespect on a different level. Did this man deserve this? He is a tried and true martial artist, and he's getting pantsed on the biggest stage for martial arts in the world. It is just disrespectful, disgraceful. It's actually minus aura, which is the only thing this guy has. You gotta let him have his aura. Let him stand there, mog a bit or something. He's cooked if he doesn't have his aura. I will say though, getting Goku to the point that he felt the need to take off his weighted clothes, extremely impressive. It feels like no one else would have gotten Goku to that point, besides, of course, Piccolo himself, and maybe Kami if he had fought Shen instead of fighting Tien Shinhan. But man, it's just so embarrassing of a scene for him. Minus aura too, it's just crazy. It's just so fraudulent, man. Like, what are we doing here? Then, of course, we have another time skip. This one's 5 years until we reach the Saiyan saga, where Tien Shinhan doesn't do anything until the Nappa and Vegeta portion of this. He does manage to kill a Cyberman, which great. Basically, everyone on the battlefield on the human side could kill a Cyberman, even Yamcha. He just got caught off guard by the self-destructing one. So I think that's a little bit of plus for him. But aside from that, he basically doesn't do anything. He loses an arm to Nappa and then uses a Kikoho that does basically nothing to Nappa. I mean, it sears him a bit, but it doesn't damage him in any significant way. And then that attack just basically costs him his life. He thuds into the ground and it's over. It's also notable that this is the moment where Tien Shinhan... Oh my god. It's also notable that this is the moment where Tien Shinhan is knocked down a peg from second strongest character to Goku to third strongest, with Piccolo being the second strongest on the team at this point. And he'll only go lower on that ranking from here, but it's important to note this is where sort of the Tien Shinhan Goku rivalry ended. Then we have Namek, which might be the biggest yikes moment for Tien Shinhan as a character, and honestly every human that isn't Krillin, because Krillin has the benefit of getting his potential unleashed, while Tien Shinhan, Yamcha, and Chaozu were all on King Kai's planet, learning none of his techniques and seemingly getting only a bit stronger. The Ginyu Force fight is only filler, so we're not really counting it here. The anime tried to throw them a bone, but we can't really use that here. You know, we're talking about the manga. We're talking about the canon meat and potatoes of this series, all right? Editing Carthu here. I actually forgot to mention that there's this one panel in the manga that's so funny with hindsight, because Tien Shinhan is just so arrogant. He thinks he's gonna focus on mastering the fundamentals of King Kai's techniques and applying them to his own techniques and surpassing Goku with no difficulty, and this shit just doesn't happen. This is actually even more important than people realize, because it might be the moment in the series where Tien Shinhan never catches up to Krillin again. A lot of people speculate or argue about Tien Shinhan versus Krillin, but at least in Toriyama's eyes, Krillin is the de facto #1 human. And you could say, oh, but Toriyama also said once that Tien Shinhan is descended from aliens, That has never been addressed in the series. I don't think it's really worth talking about. And if anything, Tien Shinhan's performances going forward seem to imply that he's at least relative to Krillin. There's not a massive gap, except for a couple of performances, but those seem technique-based more so than anything. I guess we could get right to it. The Cell Saga, which is prime aura farming Tien Shinhan. He's got boulders for shoulders. He is rocking up into the sky above Semi-Perfect Cell and blasting that dude into the dirt. Now, does it damage Semi-Perfect Cell? About as much as it damages Nappa. But does it hold Semi-Perfect Cell back to allow for something to potentially happen positively in the narrative? Yes. And this is like the biggest go-to moment that people think of for Tien Shinhan. It is like the humans returning. You know, we got androids, we have aliens, we have power levels, we have all this BS thrown into the series, and everything is thrown right back into Cell's face with Tien Shinhan basically flipping him off, saying, none of that matters, I'm still a goat. And that's the issue. That's what the big pretend is. He never was a goat. He was always a fraud from day one. He's reclaiming stature he didn't have. He's trying to rekindle a fire that was never lit. It just didn't happen. And it's kind of funny because we all bought it. Which I guess is a testament to Toriyama and his character work. But man, do you just look at this scene and you're like, yeah, Tien Shinhan, tell him how it is. Yeah, cook his ass. And it's just like, man, This is just a dude who got lucky in a tournament once. That's it. That's his biggest accomplishment. After this, we have an entirely similar scene in the Buu saga, though it is after Tien Shinhan said, I will literally never see any of you ever again, so this is probably goodbye at the end of the Cell saga. For no reason, by the way. You can have friends, Tien Shinhan. It's okay. They like you. You're allowed to be part of the group. It's been like over a decade since you were a bad guy. It's chill. You can hang with us. It's chill. But no, he just wants to be a loner with Chaozu, I guess. I don't know, a nomad of some sort. Training martial arts for no success in it whatsoever past this point. But he does show up again in the Buu saga. He does do a similar thing to his Cell performance where he just uses a Shinki Koho, blasts away Buu's attack, the one attack that he could actually blast away because Buu just uses a stronger one that Tien Shinhan couldn't do shit against after this, and he gets knocked out. But he does something. He does one thing. It is something. It is minimal. It is not much, but it farms some aura. He stands there cool in his outfit with the hands posed up. Like, he is stanced the fuck up, and he looks cool doing it. And this is, again, these two scenes in Dragon Ball Z have carried Tien Shinhan for decades. They are literally the thing he, like, signs autographs on when you go to an anime convention, because it's the only two things he's actually done that are, like, kind of relevant. Everything past this point, he does basically what other humans can do in the series. He is on Roshi tier at this point. Like, the gap between Roshi and Tien Shinhan is smaller than the gap between Tien Shinhan and Goku. And if you go by the Dragon Ball Super anime, Roshi might just be stronger than Tien Shinhan as well. So it's not looking good for this guy at all. And when I was writing the notes for this, I was trying to figure out what would I say about modern Dragon Ball and Tien Shinhan, but there's really nothing. Editing Carthu again, I just want to add that this scene in the Dragon Ball Super anime where Gohan and Goku and everyone else just forget Tien Shinhan when trying to make a roster for the Tournament of Power is so unbelievably disrespectful, man. I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. Let's get back to the main recording. He is treated as a respected martial artist, someone who continues his training, who continues to pursue for higher levels of power, who thinks about the fact that there is always someone stronger and better. He follows the principles that Roshi instilled into Goku that helped Goku be such a supreme martial artist and fighter. But he gets none of the benefit. He gets completely sidelined, and honestly, he never really was in the limelight to begin with, more than a tournament he luckily won, and a fight with King Piccolo that he kind of net equals if he hindered or helped. I think it's a really strange position to be in. I think he's cool. I would love to see the humans get their own, Orange Piccolo treatment in some regard, where they get their time in the spotlight. Maybe have Orange Piccolo, Gohan, Vegeta, Goku, Broly go do some Black Frieza stuff off-world, and something happens to Earth at the same time, where the humans really need to step up and take command. But honestly, at this point, it is so tough to imagine a world where Tien Shinhan is redeemed in any meaningful way. And I'm just so surprised that no one talks about the fact that he's kinda always been a fraud. Well, at least he's still aura farming. All right, that's all I want to say. See you later.